The effect of trying to be a monk made me neurotic. I had reached a point where I was so anxious because everything that was in me was bad. I'm not saying that this is being a monk. I said this is me trying to be a monk. You can pretend that monks are different. I don't want to have this conversation about what is a monk and what do monks do. This is another conversation. But in a sense, I found a code of conduct. I said, I want to adhere to this. It's righteous. It's the truth. It's how it should be. For example, this is how you should eat, for example. And I decided to follow this code of conduct because that is the path to achieve enlightenment or whatever version of enlightenment you want to say. So I adopted this. And very quickly realized, well, I'm not that at all. I'm quite the opposite. So then you become very suspicious of yourself, anxious about yourself, because you're always, I shouldn't look at a girl's ass. I looked at a girl's ass. Fuck, I'm a bad person. I shouldn't want to have sex. Damn, I just want to have sex. I'm a bad person. Because your point of comparison is this supreme ideal. First of all, you don't even understand what you read. Second of all, you don't even know who told to you if it's true or not. But something in your mind is now going insane. And now you're trying to be something you are so far from without any understanding of who you are and where you are and what that actually means, right? What it actually means. Let's say we use the word chastity. You don't, well, chastity is the chastity, then you have this intellectual that comes to have no longer any desires. I don't even want to get, it bores me, these conversations bore me. I don't deal with intellectuals, okay? They're too smart for me. I'll just keep it simple. So in my monk days, I just became neurotic, literally. Going outside was a source of stress because every time I would go outside, there would be people. So if there's guys, I would have violent thoughts. That's bad. I'm evil. And if there's a woman and have desires awakening, that's bad. That's evil. So I didn't want that. So I just started to look at the floor. And that made me more anxious and more anxious and more anxious. Because you're trying to deny yourself. Now I understand why I did that. I was confused. I was trying to, like a lot of people, my lifestyle, my unbridled lifestyle, got me to places where I suffered tremendously. It's not because of the energies that I suffered, it's due to my ignorance and that I wasn't driving my car properly. It's like I went into a McLaren and I didn't know how to drive and I crashed the car. That's the car's fault. I'm like, no, you don't know how to drive the car. So as a teenager, you have all this repression. You go to shit schools. It doesn't matter if it's public or private. You're repressed all the time. Your sexual energy doesn't flow. Nobody teaches you, so you have all that intensity. And you watch porn and your mind is confused, then we give you a girlfriend. It's like, of course you're going to be insane. Of course you're going to get attached. Of course you're going to be lustful. Of course you're going to go to such an extreme, and of course you're going to suffer. And no matter what happens to the relationship, you're going to suffer. It's not because of sexuality that you suffered, it's because of everything else, all the context and all the repression that you were subject to, and now the sexual energy doesn't know how to flow, and on top of that, you're an idiot. You're mentally immature, you're intellectually in a haze, you don't see straight, you don't know how to discern, you don't understand. Of course you're going to suffer. So that's what happened to me. Like many other people, I was a quote-unquote victim of my own self. Not really, you're ignorant. Ignorance is the greatest disease. So from there on, you say, okay, well, if I don't want to suffer anymore, then there should be no sex. But like if you knew what sex was in the first place. But you're an idiot, you don't even know. You think that you know. And I suffered because of a woman. So relationships are toxic and relationships are causing me to suffer. And even now you read a New Age book, they'll say, no, it's about you and making peace with yourself. This is nonsense. Internally, you're traumatized now due to the intensity that you live, and something in you wants to protect yourself from such a pain. Because in your brain, it's basic association. I suffered because I was with a girl. I suffered because of my relationship with her. And I suffered because of my sexuality. So monkhood, or a form of monkhood, is an intelligent option. Because it says, well, you don't need women, sex is bad, or you should sublimate your sexual energy to achieve godhood, and all this jazz. So it's a perfect cop-out in a way, until you go there, and if you're sane enough, you'll realize, well, what the fuck? The desire for the woman hasn't gone. The desire for my material things hasn't gone. None of it is gone. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a part of me that was genuinely sincere when I was quote unquote a monk. No, I was 100% sincere. I was curious about what life was about. I wanted to have full space. I wasn't a monk. I just stopped engaging with the world because I wanted to focus on studying, reading. For the first time, I discovered things that I never liked to read. I was at school, reading was, I don't give a fuck about Edgar Allan Poe. I don't give a fuck about literature. I don't give a shit about Molière. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't care. This is culture. I don't care about that culture. I'm not French nor English. I want nothing to do with that. I'm not even American. I don't even care. This is worthless. Shakespeare? Why do I have to read Shakespeare? Because this is amazing. I'm like, it sucks. This is the stupidest thing. I don't even know how to talk properly. I have to like bear this and pretend this is interesting? Get the fuck out of here. Give me a movie or something. Like nonsense, right? So I have no interest in besides that I was obliged to read, right? Because I went to school and I was still in school, so you have your big fucking physics books and whatnot. But for the first time I discovered a subject I was interested in, which was quote unquote spirituality. It's not spirituality, it's the study of consciousness, and consciousness is the very spark of our human experience. So I was interested in that, so I was 100% genuine, but also there was something pushing me, which was I don't want any more pain. There was a genuineness to it, but it was overzealous due to what a perfect opportunity. I love this, but I fucking hate this also. So that hate pushed me more. So there's something out of balance, something ungenuine. So I used that to my advantage. Of course, I used my situation, so I fueled myself, I focused, I meditated for hours on hours for years. But at some point, your reality catches up. Damn, I'm fucking horny. I'd meditate, stop meditating, jack off on porn, go back to meditation. Because I was an addict of porn at the time, so I'm like trying to unaddict myself, right? But meditation gets your energy circulating depending on the kind of energy you're doing. And I'm like, damn, there's an itch, and that's what I knew how to do with my itch. So there I go, watching porn, literally finishing, sitting back. And then in my mind, there's all these pictures of these little dolls, right? And I'm like, something's weird. This is weird. All of this is weird. But whatever, I just went with it because I didn't know anything else. But you realize that you can't escape yourself. You can't escape your human experience. I cannot escape the fact that I'm a man. I cannot escape that I'm a man in society. I cannot escape the fact that society is what it is. And at the time, I didn't understand society. I didn't want nothing to do with it because it's monstrous. It's a hypocrisy. And I hadn't had the time yet to discover and study it. So monkhood was the perfect door. All of this goes away. But then it catches up to you. You're like, well, I want a bunch of things. I don't have any money. I don't want to get a job because I hate all these corporations and I don't want to work for $10, $12, $15, $20 an hour doing something shit, right? So it catches up to you at some point. So then I try to live in an ashram, meaning in an organization, but now you're subject to the organization. So it's an employee of a so-called spiritual organization. It works for some time because you got a nice setup. I live in nature, and but then I'm like, the organization's limitations are now being imposed on me. I'm like, I want to grow, I want to push things forward, and the organization has its own momentum, and it's like, oh man. Then you have conflicts with the same stuff just in so-called spiritual organization. I'm like, this is shit. I don't want to live like this. Then you want to bang, you're horny, this is totally normal, you're a young man, you just, on top of that, you're a repressed young man, and then you meet a girl, let's say you like her and she's also spiritual and you talk about God together, all this fucking bullshit, right? You're just horny, very horny, and so is she, but let's say now you get past the phase of, let's pretend we love God, right? And then there's a connection, then you're confronted with the fact that I don't have fuck all. I don't have money, I can't support you, I can't even support myself. I'm not a man. So all that catches up to you because you can't run away from the world. You can try. Some people succeed to a certain degree, but they're miserable because you're not have a life of fullness. And there's nothing wrong with the world. There's nothing wrong with those energies. There's nothing wrong with materialism. There's nothing wrong with so-called spiritual, sexual energy. There's nothing wrong with anything. It's how do they come together? Now that's the question. So once you go from one extreme to the next and you spend your life going from one side to the others, one side to the other, one side to the other, and you realize it doesn't work, at some point you're confronted with the choices like, well, there's got to be something I'm missing. And that's when I dare say I was enlightened, not in the sense of I found the truth of God. I mean, like, click, enlightened. I'm like, I don't want this extreme or that extreme. I want how all the pieces come together, and I'm willing to do the work necessary to discover how they come together. And they certainly don't come the way I imagine it, because I can't even imagine it, but, right? So in your imagination, it's kind of like you take this and you take that and you put it together, right? Because you cannot imagine how it's supposed to actually be in oneness. And that doesn't work either, because you're taking something from one extreme to the other and they don't match. But there's a place where they meet, which is neither this nor that, but within it there's both in this or that, right? So I made a commitment to this because I want to achieve peace, and peace is the only thing I'm really interested in. And how can I have peace if I'm not at peace with myself, my masculinity, life on earth, life in the bigger cosmic point of view, perspective? How do I find peace? My interest in business is not business, it's peace. My interest in women is not women, it's peace. My interest, if I'm cultivating myself intellectually or it doesn't, whatever, physically, it's not for itself, it's for peace. Because as a man, if you don't have sustenance, you don't have peace. So I'm doing it for peace. Some people say peace equals to God. Right? So I'm literally doing it just for that reason. From the outside, you're like, okay, he's the guy, he's got girls in his life, great for him. I'm like, no, I don't care about the bitches. I care about peace, and my physiology or my constitution demands this to balance itself. So therefore, I will do it in a harmonious way, as harmonious as I can, always improving, but only to harmonize my basic nature so that I can have peace and have inner space. And I don't believe it is possible to achieve a place of such harmony if you're always denying one thing or the other. I don't think a so-called materialistic person who lives and breathes only money can ever have peace if he denies that life is greater than just running after a bunch of things. It's impossible, because everybody is human. So it's like, to be spiritual is not unique to a bunch of people. Everybody is. It's just like you stop, you look at the sky, you're like, wow, I wonder what's beyond. Boom, you're spiritual. What's out? You look up in the sky. If it wasn't for Discovery Channel and A&E and all this fucking rubbish that sells you all this alien crap, if you were just a normal person like a kid, my generation kids, no TV, or not as big as today, you just look and then you'd say, you hang out with your friends, you're eating one of those straws, and you're like, yo, have you ever thought what's there? And then you have a conversation. It's just natural. It's not, I had lots of conversations like that with my buddies, even when we were the dumbest morons. My homeboy Mike, we used to go and we would walk to the cinema, because back then we'd go to the cinema, that was the thing to do. We were like 14 or 15. We'd get a lift to go there. Whoever was dropping us off would drop us off quite away from the cinema, so we didn't seem to be driven, because it's not cool. Then we go to the cinema, waste our time, pretend that we're going to pick up girls, and then we had nothing to do, right? Let's say we went to the cinema at 7, it's like 9:30, we have nothing to do. So we'd walk home. It's an hour and a half walk, right? We live in the suburbs, everything is far. So we'd walk. So as first we talk, how's your day, and then of course we talk about girls, and at some point we'd have these funny conversations, like, do you ever wonder, like, how's your body walking? Like, look at it, it's just walking. What makes it walk? And these were the best moments with my buddy, when the girls haven't taken possession of your entire attention yet, almost, but not yet, and there's still like a form of youthful curiosity, which I've maintained all my life, but people become old, right? So we'd had these moments. So this was natural, and we were as superficial can be. Like there was nothing. We're just normal guys hanging out, having a conversation. When we used to go snowboarding, we'd do the same thing. We're like 14, 15, maximum 16. We snowboard the whole day. We're exhausted. We've done our show-offs, and it's the end of the day, and we hang out on the slope at the top, just sit there, right? And we hang out, have a conversation. Like, we've laughed at each other all day. It's over. That's out of the system. We've tried to impress girls that's out of the system. When all that junk is out of the system, we just hang out and have conversations. And all of us are from religious background, so we talk about these things and it'll open up to other things. And this is totally natural. So you mean to tell me that a so-called materialistic person doesn't have that inside of them? Of course they do. They just hide in their so-called materialism, trying to avoid looking at the scope of life because it intimidates them. Because it is intimidating. And the so-called spiritual person wants to pretend booty doesn't exist. Booty in the full sense of the word. Booty meaning money, prize, pussy. No, it doesn't exist. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, are you mean to tell me that when you look at that Porsche, it doesn't turn you on? I like Porsches. The 911 turbos, I find them a very beautiful automobile. I think it's one of the coolest things. So I'm like, are you going to tell me it's not? Look at it. It's so awesome. Some fucking guys, some fucking men, keyword men, invented this shit. Look at it. So it looks like a woman in metal. Like, it's awesome. How could you not find it awesome? How could you not find that awesome? Right? No, none of that is there. I'm like, no, it's awesome. Even in the material world, in its madness and its corruption, when you zoom out a little bit and you just see how it is, it's absolutely divinely brilliant. You mean to tell me you just want to pretend that it's not there because it makes you uncomfortable? How could you live a full life pretending it's not there? Yeah, but how do you live this life and that life at the same time? I'm like, yeah, that's your average person doesn't know how. But there's a key, I assure you. And that's what I was set up. No, I don't know how to say this. That's what I wanted. What's the key that unlocks the door where those two threads come together perfectly harmoniously? So you don't have to live in a so-called dual life. So when a person says, oh, you're spiritual, I'm like, well, like fucking spiritual to you? I ain't spiritual. Oh, well, are you a materialistic person? Do I look like a materialistic person? I don't wear rings. I don't have chains. I don't give a shit about none of that shit. Well, why don't you wear rings? Because it's annoying on my fingers. Chains, because I don't want to have something on my neck. Why would I have a chain? Am I a slave? No, I'm not a slave. I don't need a chain. Thank you so much. Anyways, little jokes, but the point is, how do these pieces come together? And that's what I wanted to find. And so the original question maybe for you guys is the video just before. Well, if you're always judging something, this is good, this is bad, this is demonic, this is angelic, this is not good in me, shouldn't be like this, I shouldn't feel like that. First of all, you never actually discover those energies, and you don't discover their real essence. Never. And I'm telling you, everything has been made by the same mind. This is for sure. It doesn't matter how you understand life, you know, even if you believe in the so-called Big Bang, everything has been made by the same mind. So somewhat there's an intelligence to it. And I was always eager to discover, I want to discover the intelligence behind whatever it is. My relation to the divine is knowledge. Knowledge meaning understand, overstand, discover the blueprint, why it's there, what's its function. And to tell me that it's there to test my love for God, then fuck you and fuck your God. That's all I got to say. I'm not shy to say it. I'm like, if the God wants to test my love for him by putting pussy and saying, if you really love me, you won't fuck the pussy, then I'm like, this is not my God. I don't want such a God. Your God is insane and he's schizophrenic. And I'm like, you can enjoy that God over there. My God is a God of oneness, whatever that means for you. It doesn't mean that in oneness, it doesn't mean that there's not black and white. It doesn't mean I cannot appreciate black and white. It doesn't mean black and white can't annoy me either. But it means in it, there's both. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't want them to disappear. I don't want the good and the bad to... It's not even good or bad. They're both hustlers at the end of the day. It's what I'm trying to say is I don't want them to disappear. Anyways, long story short, in my humble opinion, you cannot achieve peace by running away from what you are and what's inside of you. And as you dive deeper into self-exploration or self-realization, you'll discover beautiful things that you may read and think you understand, but until you do, until you realize it for yourself, you don't really get it. Things aren't what they seem. We'd like to believe that we are an individual and that you therefore choose. And we like all these ideas, so therefore I can choose right or wrong. This is at the surface because you're like a little character in a program, in a game that thinks it chooses where it goes. But when you understand energies at a deeper level and you understand the complexity of how these energies dance and move and go about, your approach changes a lot and your understanding of yourself and what's good or bad also evolves. You're like, well, these are energies, and am I really controlling? Am I really the doer? Anyways, it all depends at what level you want to operate, because right now I'm the doer. Right? Anyways, let's not go further than this with this one. Thank you.